My name is Jace Moore. I'm a monitoring and compliance coordinator on the grants administration team at MOVA. In this video, I will be reviewing the DOJ Office for Justice Program Special Award Condition, determination of suitability required in advance for certain individuals who may interact with participating minors. This special condition has been a common follow-up item during site visits since it's been implemented, and we hope this video can be used as a resource to help clarify those requirements. In this video, I will cover an overview of the DOJ Special Award Condition and definitions, compliance requirements, documentation requirements. I will go through MOVA's monitoring procedure. I will review a sample written determination of suitability template MOVA created as a resource for compliance, common questions and answers, and at the end, resources will be linked and these slides will be shared with this recording on our website. First, I'll give you some background about the special condition, and then I will walk through some definitions for terms I will be using throughout this presentation. This special condition was incorporated into many DOJ Office for Justice Programs awards starting in calendar year 2019. This includes the VOCA grant administered by the Office for Victims of Crime. This special condition was put into effect for all MOVA administered awards at the start of the FY23 award cycle, July 1st, 2022. If any of the MOVA-funded services or activities benefit minors, or if it is reasonably likely to interact with minors under the award, we will be looking to see that you have procedures that include the requirements I'll be discussing. This award condition states the subrecipient may not permit any covered individual to interact with any participating minor during activities under the award, unless the subrecipient has first made a written determination of suitability of that individual to interact with participating minors. In this case, a covered individual is any individual who is expected or reasonably likely to interact with participating minors. This includes, but is not limited to, employees, consultants, contractors, and volunteers. A participating minor is any individual under 18 years old who take part in or benefit from award-funded services or activities. Interaction includes physical contact, oral and written communication, transmission of images and sound, and may be in person or by electronic or similar means. Activities under the award are services, benefits, or actions the agency, volunteer, or subcontractor that covered individual takes to meet the goals of the grant. As outlined in the MOVA grant subrecipient policies and procedures, agencies should have written policies and procedures regarding the process to determine suitability to interact with participating minors that are consistent with the requirements of the special condition and include the following: a name-based search of the required public sex offender and child abuse registries, a fingerprint-based or a name-based search for the required criminal history registries, a list or description of all factors considered when making a suitability determination. I will go into details about these searches in another slide. Any search must include jurisdictions in which individuals have lived, worked, or went to school during the past 5 years, and in which they are reasonably likely to interact with participating minors. You must make a written determination within 6 months of completion of the required searches. Searches must be re-examined upon learning information that may suggest unsuitability, and they must be renewed at least every 5 years. The special condition requires searches of public sex offender, child abuse, and criminal history registries, as mentioned in the previous slides. We've included information about the required searches for MOVA administered awards. The required public sex offender and child abuse registries for MOVA administered awards are the Drew Shoden National Sex Offender Public website and the Massachusetts Sex Offender Registry Board, also known as completing a SORI check. Links to both of those registries are included in this slide. The required criminal history registries are a fingerprint-based criminal history registry check. If a fingerprint-based check is legally unavailable, you can complete the Massachusetts Criminal Offender Record Information, also known as a query check, and that's through the Massachusetts Department of Criminal Justice Information Services. The link to that is also included here as well. And if it's applicable to the covered individual, you will also need to check the public sex offender, child abuse, and criminal history registry for each state in which an individual lives, works, or goes to school, or has lived, worked, or gone to school at any time during the past 5 years. Now I will be going through some criteria included in the special condition that would deem individuals not suitable to interact with participating minors during activities under the award. For an initial determination of suitability or reexamination, the subrecipient may not determine that a covered individual is suitable to interact with participating minors if the covered individual withholds consent to a criminal history search, knowingly makes a false statement that affects any required search, is listed as a registered sex offender on the Drew Shoden National Sex Offender Public website, is determined by a federal, state, tribal, or local government agency to not be suitable, and to the knowledge of the subrecipient has been convicted of any of the crimes listed below. After you've completed all the required searches, you should create a written determination of suitability for that covered individual. This means you will provide something written that confirms you've completed those registry checks, considered that exclusionary criteria, and made a determination of suitability for that covered individual. You must maintain all documentation related to written determinations of suitability for at least 7 years. That is the MOVA records retention requirement. These records can be reviewed by MOVA during site visits and may be requested at any time. This documentation includes written procedures used to determine suitability, those actual written determinations of suitability for covered individuals, and all records and reports generated through completion of those required searches. Now I will go through MOVA's monitoring of this special condition. This will give you a preview of what to expect during site visits or other monitoring events. Before a site visit, MOVA will request the following information be submitted with the pre-visit monitoring worksheets and e-grants. And that includes written procedures used to determine suitability of those expected to interact with minors under the award, and a list of covered individuals. This documentation will be reviewed to ensure it meets all compliance requirements. While on site, MOVA will request to review a sample of completed written determinations for covered individuals. The sample size will depend on the number of covered individuals under the award. As a reminder, no confidential or protected information should be shared. MOVA will only be looking to see those written determinations that don't include any personally identifiable information, or PII. MOVA created a resource for agencies developing their own forms to make written determinations of suitability. It's not required that you use this resource, but it is available on our website and will be linked at the end of this presentation if it's needed. This form incorporates all requirements of the special condition. Here at the top, we include a space to put information about the covered individual. We included spaces where you can make note of those completed registry checks. Here on the first page, at the top, it's those public sex offender and child abuse registries, and then criminal history registries. We included the required criteria that would need to be considered when making a determination of suitability here on this form. And then at the end of the form is where you would make that actual determination of suitability. This form on our website is editable, so you can make it your own. It was created as a template for what a written determination of suitability can look like. I prepared a few commonly asked questions that have come up since the special condition has been in effect, and I'll go through those now. The first question is, are we required to put these systems into effect for all employees or only employees working under MOVA administered awards? This condition only applies to individuals who are reasonably likely to interact with minors in activities or services under the MOVA administered award. Our agency staff only have contact with minors in the presence of an accompanying adult. Do these requirements still apply to our award? Yes, if the special condition applies to any of your MOVA administered awards, it is required that an individual determined to be suitable, even in the presence of an accompanying adult, is present. The full details of the special condition includes language about personally accompanied contact, and I'll read that definition here. The definition requires an agency to have a written policy stating a person that has been determined suitable pursuant to the requirements of the special condition would be present during an interaction that is infrequent or occasional contact. And an example of this would be a speaker coming in to present to a larger group. So this would not apply to regular services where it is reasonably likely to interact with participating minors. So your organization would still need to have those written procedures in place to determine suitability for covered individuals under the award. Our agency runs a query and sorry at the time of hire for all new employees. Is this sufficient to meet the requirements of the special condition? No, in addition to those two checks, you would also need to check the Drew Shoden National Sex Offender public website, and if it's applicable to the covered individual, the public sex offender child abuse registry and criminal history registry for each state in which the individual lives, works, or goes to school, or has lived, worked, or gone to school at any time during the past 5 years. We encourage agencies to include a way to determine any other state in which a covered individual has lived, worked, or went to school in the past 5 years in their written procedures. The special condition appeared to require subrecipients to conduct checks of public child welfare registries or websites. I can't find a registry in Massachusetts. Is this still required? The Child Abuse Registry in Massachusetts is not a public registry, so it's not required, but you may need to check registries in other states if it's applicable. Now I will go through the resources we have linked. The first link in this slide is to the full details of the Office for Justice Programs award condition. That will bring you directly to the site so you can, if you would like to read the full details of that special condition. And I included a link to that sample written determination of suitability template. This will take you to a link to our resources, our forms and resources page on our website, where you can find this template along with many other compliance resources. And for technical assistance, you can contact MOVA Grants at mass.gov. Thank you.